Hello everyone, welcome back to the World Conflict Monitor channel. Please subscribe to my channel because today we are diving into one of the most shocking developments in Eastern Europe. A massive uprising has erupted in Belarus, shaking the foundations of the Lukashenko regime and sending ripples across the entire region. What makes this moment even more explosive is the apparent shift in Moscow's stance. For the first time in decades, Vladimir Putin seems unwilling to fully back his longtime ally, leaving Belarus politically isolated and vulnerable. This sudden betrayal, or calculated distancing, is creating a red alert situation that could reshape the balance of power in the region. In short, the story is that after years of Lukashenko clinging to power with the support of Moscow, the Belarusian people have reached a breaking point, pouring into the streets with unprecedented intensity, while Putin seems to be turning his back, perhaps to protect his own strategic interests. The exterior of this crisis presents a dramatic scene to the world. On the outside, Belarus looks like a country engulfed in flames of resistance. Crowds flood the streets of Minsk and other major cities, waving flags, chanting for freedom, and demanding an end to authoritarian rule. International media captures images of burning barricades, riot police struggling to contain the masses, and citizens organizing in ways never seen before. From the exterior perspective, this is not just a local protest, it is an uprising of national scale, an explosion of pent-up frustration that has been simmering for decades. The exterior is also defined by how neighboring states and global powers are reacting. Poland and Lithuania call for urgent international attention, NATO watches with alarm, and the European Union begins discussions on sanctions, humanitarian aid, and diplomatic pressure. The exterior image is one of volatility, chaos, and the possibility of a complete collapse of the existing order. Inside Belarus, however, the picture feels very different. The interior of this crisis is filled with fear, tension, and uncertainty. Inside homes, families whisper in hushed voices, trying to figure out how safe it is to join the demonstrations. People worry about arrests, torture, or the disappearance of loved ones. The interior experience of the average Belarusian is a combination of hope and terror, a strange duality where they feel the possibility of change for the first time, yet also the risk of brutal government retaliation. The government itself is fractured inside its corridors. Some officials stay loyal to Lukashenko, while others quietly explore the possibility of defecting, realizing that his power might not last much longer. Inside the Kremlin, the interior political debates focus on whether Belarus is worth saving, or whether it is safer for Russia to step back. This interior perspective is short but sharp, and it is here where the seeds of betrayal are sown. When analyzing the performance of the Belarusian state apparatus during this uprising, it becomes clear that the regime's ability to perform its duties has weakened significantly. Lukashenko has always relied on a strong security system to maintain control, but the performance of the police, military, and intelligence services is now under strain. Riot police are overstretched, sometimes refusing to engage protesters as their own morale collapses. The army, though heavily armed, shows hesitation to fire on its own people, fearing a backlash that could topple the government entirely. The performance of Lukashenko himself as a leader is also faltering. Once seen as the iron-fisted ruler who could weather any storm, he now appears isolated, desperate, and abandoned by the very ally who once guaranteed his survival, Vladimir Putin. Even Russia's performance on the international stage is under scrutiny, as Putin's decision to distance himself raises questions about Moscow's reliability as a strategic partner. Safety features in this situation are virtually non-existent, and that is what makes this crisis a true red alert conflict. For the citizens of Belarus, there are no real protections in place. Protesters face tear gas, rubber bullets, stun grenades, and mass arrests. Hospitals are overwhelmed as injuries rise, and safety in public spaces becomes almost impossible. The state's so-called safety features, laws, police, and the judiciary are turned against the people instead of protecting them. On a regional level, safety is compromised too. Neighboring states fear that the conflict could spill across borders, sparking refugee waves or violent clashes with Russian or Belarusian forces. NATO increases its surveillance and readiness because any misstep could lead to confrontation. Safety, in essence, has collapsed, and this makes the situation unpredictable and deeply dangerous. Despite all the chaos, unique selling points of this uprising stand out. Unlike previous protests in Belarus, this one is larger, more organized, and more determined. The unique feature is the unity among people from all walks of life. Students, workers, professionals, even retired citizens, all demanding the same thing, freedom and dignity. Another unique aspect is the geopolitical twist. Putin, who historically always backed Lukashenko, seems to be calculating differently this time. This unexpected distancing is what makes the crisis even more historic. It sends a message to the world that even the closest allies can be abandoned if political costs become too high. Another unique selling point is the rise of Belarus on the global stage. For years, Belarus was ignored in international politics, but suddenly it becomes the center of attention, with the world debating its future. If one were to put a price on this conflict, the cost is staggering. For Belarus, the price is measured in human suffering, lost lives, destroyed infrastructure, and shattered families. Economically, the price is catastrophic. Sanctions loom, investors flee, and the currency weakens. For Russia, the price is strategic credibility. By turning its back on Lukashenko, Moscow risks being seen as an unreliable ally, and this could have consequences for its relationships with other states under its influence. For Europe, the price involves managing instability on its borders, absorbing refugees, and confronting a humanitarian crisis. In pure financial terms, billions are lost, but the real price is paid by ordinary Belarusians who sacrifice their safety and livelihood in the hope of freedom. In conclusion, the uprising in Belarus marks a turning point not only for the country, but also for the entire region. It is a story of people rising against oppression, of a leader losing his grip, and of an ally withdrawing support at the most critical hour. The conclusion is that Belarus stands at a crossroads. One path leads to freedom and democracy, the other to deeper chaos and potential collapse. Putin's decision to turn his back shows that power politics can change overnight, and no leader is guaranteed survival. For the world, the lesson is that uprisings, no matter how suppressed, can explode with tremendous force when the moment is right. For the people of Belarus, this is their moment to decide their own destiny. And for viewers around the world, this is a reminder that history is not written in silence, but forged in the cries of those who refuse to live without freedom.